What's up, everybody? It is Omega from Omega's Gaming. Back at it again with another ESO video. Today I'm joined by my good friend here, SpaceKong.
Yo, what's going on, guys? SpaceKong here. Thanks for having me on your channel, dude.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining. I am a Kongonian. In SpaceKong's guild. I do a lot of trials with them, healing, tanking, different things like that. We thought we'd get together for you guys today and talk a little bit about the state of ESO with the new patch and DLC that is out, and with all of the new upcoming games this year, such as Destiny 2, I believe Red Dead Redemption is on the way, different things like that, where we think ESO might go in the future, and are they even going in the right direction? So I'll go ahead and pass it over to SpaceKong, and what do you think about this new patch and such?
Well, I mean, they've done quite a few things right, and well, I mean, obviously, there's going to be people complaining about a lot of stuff, but this is just my opinion. I think the last few patches have gone really well. Obviously, it's tried to make people more, well, to say the least. They've changed the whole sustain thing. So before it was everyone would have infinite sustain, and yeah, that would kind of suck. So it would make a lot of broken builds. So what they've done is they've tried to put a lot of heavy attacks into it, and a lot of the new armor sets are based on heavy attacks. Like we have quite a few healing sets that are coming out. Well, we've got a healing set with the Horns of Reach, which I'm trying to get. I can't remember what it's called, but essentially by doing a heavy attack, it puts down a healing pool, which is it's a pretty nice proc set if you were to mix it with, say, Seducer to get yourself your sustainability. But I like the way that's going because eventually, I reckon after a few patches, then the game's going to be a lot more even than it was before. What about you?
Yeah, I agree with how they're trying to go. I do think they're going in the right direction. Before I mean, everybody had unlimited sustain, and especially in PvP wise, there was no skill whatsoever when you were PvPing. It was basically everyone had unlimited sustain, and you just tried to hit as hard as you could. Now I do a lot of PvP, and I've noticed that if you're not comboing your sustain, people will just run out of resources, and you can smack them down. I think it's really good, where they're going. One thing I would like to see them change is a lot of other games are able to separate their PvP and PvE aspects. And I do wish they would kind of separate that a little bit more in the upcoming patches, because sometimes they nerf stuff because it's too strong in PvP and people are complaining, and then it really changes the whole dynamic of your dungeon experience as well. I think if they did that, we wouldn't have to change sets all the time, because we're constantly having to find out what's best in slot and change this and change that. But
Yeah.
which is kind of annoying because I'm broke. So
Yeah. So, and the whole Torx pack thing coming back, like that.
oh yeah,
That was best in slot, like when we first started the game, when it first came out, and now it's gone back in a full circle, and like same with Julianos and stuff, like all those sets are coming back. So after all that farming, we've gone like in one big circle.
Yeah, so it's almost like the best thing to do is just farm every single set in the game, hold everything out so that you're never on the wrong side.
Right? Yeah.
That's pretty much all you can do at this point. But yeah, I do really like where they're going with everything, and I'm hoping that that we get the opportunity to see a little bit of that separation, but it's there's nothing wrong with what they're doing right now. I mean, people do complain. I'm not gonna lie. Like there's a lot of
There's always complainers, man.
you're never gonna get away from that complaining. But people just have to remember is that they've never made an MMO before, and for them making this MMO and it basically being considered on WoW's level for their first time, they're doing a good job. You know what I mean? It's you just have a lot of complainers.
Yeah, I mean, it got MMO of the year at one point, didn't it? Like,
Yeah,
like 2015, was it? Or something, 14?
Yeah, it did. And I think that was right when it came out for Xbox and PS4, like right around the same time it came out. I think that was when they started giving it everything. So yeah, I'm cool with what they're doing.
Totally.
I'm not gonna be a complainer. So, but
Yeah, same as. I just killed someone. Hey.
Yeah, I was right there. I seen it.
That's another thing. Proc sets as well. They were a massive part of the game.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Oh shit, man! This is getting intense.
Yeah, it is. So with the new games coming out and things like that, especially Destiny, that's a worry for me,
I pre-ordered
personally.
that as well.
Yeah, yeah, Destiny. I think Destiny is going to take a little bit of the player base away from this, but
Totally, because they're changing it completely. Like, they never had a story or anything before, and now they've just basically that they're touching upon. Obviously, well, they had, they almost got sued, didn't they? Or they did get sued for the
yeah,
whole story thing. So the game wasn't as good as it could be, but obviously now that things are different, so it's going to be exactly what they wanted. And
well,
yeah, I mean it's an MMO, but it's kind of like a first person shooter MMO, isn't it? So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
going to get a lot of people.
Well, see, I played like a billion hours on Xbox when I was playing on Xbox. So,
Mm.
and even with like all the stuff people were complaining about, it was an amazing game to tell you the truth. And I think it's gonna steal a little bit of our player base, but I think it's gonna be a kind of like good competition for ESO because there's not really much competition for it right now. Like everything that's coming out is like up until this point has just been like JRPGs and different things like that you can only play in chat.
Yeah,
So
totally.
there hasn't been too much of a like issue with them just kind of doing whatever they want. But I think this is going to be super healthy for them, and it'll like give them the drive that they need to be like, hey, we can't mess this up. You know what I mean? So they
Yeah,
might
totally.
put more effort. Like when you have like a bully in school. You know what I mean? Like I think that's we're like Destiny's going to be their bully. Um, and it's going to give them like that drive to be like, all right, I'm not going to get pushed around anymore. Let's get this shit done, and then we might see some like huge changes coming up in the future for this game to compete with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, I totally agree with what you're saying. I mean, there is one game as well that I think might just take the lead. Have you seen the trailer for Ashes of Creation? It's a long way off,
Yes, I
but
have.
that, oh man, like, I mean, I love Elder Scrolls, but like, even I would debate giving that a go. But I
Yeah,
mean,
no, yeah,
I'm a long time Elder Scrolls fan. I've been playing it since launch, and I've still been playing this game. Obviously, have a little break every now and then just to play whatever, like a new game that comes out. But yeah, I think that game as well might just take the lead. But yeah, I think you're totally right. It's definitely going to give Elder Scrolls, ZeniMax a kick up the arse because they're going to want to compete with pretty much all the new upcoming games. And obviously, it's going to be a struggle. It's not going to be easy. So they're going to have to listen to the players more so than ever now.
and they're getting better with listening, and then like we're saying, they're getting better with listening. They're moving in the right direction, and I really think that uh, this is going to give them that kick in their ass where they're like, all right, we need to listen so that we don't lose. Because I mean, they're people are going to try out Destiny, especially since now it's on PC and it never was before. Like that's going to be a big thing, Like people
Totally.
are gonna want to check it out, and then anybody like myself, I played a lot of Destiny on the Xbox. So for me, I'm super excited about it because I loved playing Destiny. So I already know
Yeah,
that it's going to
same.
be amazing. You know what I mean? So if there's anybody who's been playing on the PC, kind of like I switched over from Xbox to PC,
Yeah,
anybody
I
who,
was on PlayStation before.
yeah, so anybody who's done that and played Destiny is going to be like, holy shit, like I've got to play this on my new expensive PC. You know?
Exactly, yeah. Everyone's because obviously it's not quite the same on consoles. Do you know what I mean?
Oh
Like you're
no,
not going
not
to
at
get the
all.
same. But that's great. And then there's also Red Dead Redemption 2 coming out, but that's not going to be on PC so far. So like that's
I'd
probably
love to
still going to
maybe.
take quite a few of the console players. Oh, me
Yeah,
too. I really love Red
yeah.
Redemption. Oh, it's one of my favorite games. Oh shit, we're getting taken over here. Oh, that was intense.
I just need this dude to stop running for me.
Yeah, same.
And he's dead. But yeah, like I'm happy with what they're doing with ESO. Like Battlegrounds, I think Battlegrounds is pretty cool. Like they've added some stuff that we knew eventually was going to come. It just took some time, and it is what it is. The game takes time. Like people,
Hmm.
it's not an easy thing. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah, totally.
you just got to let it happen. But yeah, that's what about some set changes? Is there any like maybe for PvP or PvE sets that you might want to see that are OP right now that might want to get changed? Or I like me personally, like I'd like proc sets were a huge thing for stamina, but not so much for magic. I'd like to
Oh,
see
definitely.
I'd like to see them kind of change a little bit, maybe bring out some better magic proc sets because the ones that we have right now really aren't that awesome. They're kind of
Yeah, it was kind of at one point it was all stamina based, and like it was all Velodreth and Viper. That was the whole best in slot, and that was probably the lowest point of Elder Scrolls, I think, in PvP terms, because it was just everyone using the same proxy. I'm glad that got nerfed,
yeah.
but then I'm kind of a little bit upset that the Necropotence got a little bit nerfed. It's not huge,
Yeah,
but
I didn't understand it.
for all the pet lovers, and that's like the only pet armor that you can have. I don't know. It hit home.
Yeah, no, well, see, and that's the thing too is like I was farming like the gold rings and stuff like that in PvP, and I don't really understand what they did with that. Um, I mean, like they have like the little developer comments and stuff, so they kind of tell you, but like usually when they change stuff, it's because it's broken, and I don't know why like it wasn't broken. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing broken with that. I'm just kind of wondering
Totally.
like where they were going with that. Same thing with like like everyone complains about the changes to penetration, like the penetration nerfs and things like that. But see, I get
Yeah.
that because even in PvP, people were like over penetrating bosses because you
Yeah.
only have like what 18k, physical and spell, and if you had three people wearing these specific sets, you were over penetrating, and then you just weren't there was no difficulty to the bosses. You just melt everything. So I,
Yeah.
I understand that in that aspect, but like Necropotence I didn't really understand. So glad Viper got nerfed. That was the bane of my existence.
Oh
um,
god, yeah. That made me quit PvP for a while. It
yeah,
was just so
Nightblades
upsetting.
Nightblades don't know what to do now that Viper is a dot. um, Same
Yeah,
thing
that's why I
with
had to make a Blaze and Shield build as well, because like Blaze and Shield, literally, that was the only thing to counteract the Viper that I could
yeah,
come up with.
yeah,
They would literally just proc it and bang straight back at them.
yeah.
But that was it.
Without the blazing shield, like if you weren't super tanky, you would just get one shot. Like
Mm,
you would die before they came out of stealth. So
yeah,
you're like, what the hell just happened? But
yeah. So like, I did hate that. Like, oh man,
it's
like I was testing Necropotence just now in the Battlegrounds, and because I haven't played Battlegrounds since it came out, I played it for like the first month or so, and then I just stopped. I didn't realize. My friends were telling me, like I played Battlegrounds for the first, I don't know, week or so it came out, and I wasn't even playing it that much, but I made this flag capturer build, which was pretty sweet, and I ended up being like the top 20. And I didn't even know it at the time.
oh
they,
nice.
were, they were like, "Oh, dude, you know you're like in the leaderboards." I was like,
Yeah,
"Damn!" I was just playing the game. Like it's just I don't know. It's really addictive. Like you could play Battlegrounds for a long time without getting bored.
oh
But I
yeah.
mean, that's just my opinion.
Oh no,
But
I agree. That was something that needed to be in here, and they definitely did it. I would like to see a CP battlegrounds though, like not just no CP. Like I think they should have both. Like how they have in
yeah,
Cyrodiil where you can choose which one you want to do. I think they should do the same thing. That way you always have options, because like that also gives you more diversity in builds too, because certain builds are super overpowered in no CP and don't work in CP. So then that makes people change.
yeah,
Like, oh, if I want to go do this one, I have my CP build, I have my no CP build. So, like, the more options, the better, because you're not going to get bored as fast if everybody's using Lich.
yeah.
And you know
It's
what I
more
mean?
diversity.
Right, yeah. So if they did that, I think that would really set Battlegrounds over the top. That.
Yeah, and exactly. And coming back to when we were saying about Zenimax having to sort of listen to players more now than ever, because obviously the new upcoming games, this is the sort of stuff they need to be implementing now, really, just to keep the players in the player base, aren't they? So
Yeah. Now with the new I've done the new dungeons and such. What do you think about the new dungeons? Like, how do you like them?
oh, they're fun. I've done Horns of the Reach. I haven't played the other one yet. I haven't played the Bloodforge. I want to complete one of them and like farm it completely and then move on to the other one. Do you know what I mean? I like to
Yeah.
stretch out the DLC because it's a small DLC. You know, let's face it, it's not like a massive one. It's like the other one we had before. You know, the Ruins of Mazatoon
Yeah.
and Cradle of Shadows. Like it was fun, but if you go all out, you can complete the DLC in a couple of days. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah.
And I mean, I like to sort of take my time, so I'm trying to like wrap my head around doing all of it, but I want to take it slowly. Like so, as far as the other one, what one was it called? Yeah, the
The
Horns of the Reach.
yeah, there's that, and then
Like,
there's the Folk Reef Hold or whatever.
yeah, exactly. I've really enjoyed that. I mean, you know, I'm a massive fan of Skyrim. You know, and they had, you know, it's basically a Skyrim map, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, it's good to see that. And we don't really have a dungeon where you're sort of running around a city. I mean, we have what City of Ash, but that's not really a city. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
it's kind of destroyed.
A nice little village. Yeah, I mean, it's quite cool, and I mean, it's good for the lore as well. I didn't know that minotaurs or minotaurs, you know, however you pronounce it. You know, I'm English, so we say minotaurs. But someone's having to go at me up there. They're like, it's pronounced minotaur, and I was just
Yeah.
like, I don't know, man. I'm from
See,
England.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not from Texas, so like just
Yeah, exactly. You know, so yeah, I mean, I had that, but no, obviously you don't know with the lore that they were actually around Skyrim that era. Because obviously, you know, when we play Skyrim, which was what 1,000 years after this game, they're not around. So it's good to get, you know, a little nugget of knowledge in there. But yeah, as far as the actual map goes, I really enjoy it. And the boss fights, oh my god, the last boss.
yeah.
If you do that on veteran hard mode, like for the first time,
Yeah,
it's fun.
honestly it's refreshing because
Mm.
with my tank who is absolutely overpowered, and then uh my my healer who is overpowered. Uh, it's there's really no, like, if you have the right dynamic, there's no difficulty in the older dungeons and things like that because you've done them so many times. It's just kind of like, all right, let's just hurry up and do a speed run through these dungeons, and it's, I don't even need to put like my gold gear on to heal through it just because it's so easy at this point. These dungeons are actually relatively difficult the first time you go through them.
Yeah, very
But
mechanic heavy.
yeah, very mechanic heavy, and I like that because the original dungeons and stuff, they're, they might be like, just your mechanic is don't stand in the red. You know what I mean? Like that's the mechanic of the
Yeah.
earlier dungeons. But now, like, with I think it's like the second or third boss in Folkreath, the giant skeleton.
Love that
Where,
one.
yeah, you gotta pull the souls over to the fountains, to summon the
Yeah, and
skeleton.
cleanse them.
Yeah, and you gotta do
Mm.
all of that. So I mean, there's so many different, like, all the boss fights feel really unique in this DLC, and it's really refreshing. And I'm very interested in that healing set. I do want to try that on my healer because I heavy resto constantly. So that's just another,
Mm.
like, AOE heal that I can use. But I think the dungeons are really good. Like, they're very refreshing and challenging, and that's the whole point, is to be challenging. And with the new skins, I don't know if you've like looked at the new skins yet, but
Oh yeah, yeah. Tell you, I want to farm man as well. I've been
yeah,
trying to do it on hard mode just to try and get them, but obviously I've had no luck.
yeah, those
But
those those new skins are crazy. I mean, I even bought this one, this purple, like, ebony skin that they had, the limited edition one that they had for a little bit.
yeah, I'm wearing it right now. It's so
Yeah,
good.
that's exactly what I'm doing. Like, I'm a big fan of the skins and costumes and things like that. Like, I think they do really good jobs on those, so I try to purchase those anytime they pop up. But the new skins are just they're badass. I really like them, and I'm hoping that they continue with that theme of bringing out, different skins and maybe costumes and stuff that you get for beating the dungeon. Like, because, like, if you beat a dungeon right now on, like, vet, I know you get a helm and stuff, but there should be like a maybe like a cool little costume or like a badge or something you can wear on your character that kind of
Yeah,
shows,
that would be
like, hey,
cool.
hey, I did this. You know what I mean? But yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
really
that
like
would
them.
be cool. Or like some kind of tabard or something, like some
Yeah,
something
yeah,
special. Because I mean, you get the bust, but not everyone has a house. You know what I mean? Like
right.
not everyone wants a bust, or you get. To be honest, if I had a choice between the bust or the mounted heads, which you get from normal, I'd rather just do the normal dungeon and get that. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. The mounted head looks way better than the bust. Like, I went to this guy's house in the PvP guild that I'm in, and he has like all his mounted heads. He bought like one of the huge, like, you know, $150 houses that you can buy, and the mounted heads are so much
Jesus.
cooler. But yeah, I'd like to have something like, I know you get like when you do super hard stuff, you get your little what do you call it? Your title, because I have like the Mega Slayer and like the Obsidian Overlord for doing all the trials on vet hard mode. I have
Yeah.
all of those, but which are cool to put on there. But I'd like to have like a costume or something. You know what I mean? Like if you beat it on vet hard mode because it's hard as shit. Like here's a little costume that shows that you have it, and then when you do all of the stuff, you get the skin. Like lead up to the skin. You know what I mean? Like maybe be like a mask or a hat, and then like a die, for completing the second part, and then like as you complete each quest to get to the skin, there's like little rewards on your way up. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
some of the work for will gradually go for it. I mean, I like the fact that I mean the monster sets themselves from the new DLC, they're okay. You
Yeah,
know, the healing one is trash because you get like what 35-second cooldown for a
yeah,
quick 3 second burst.
yeah,
That sucks. And then like the other one's okay, you know, but you either get physical or flame damage. You know what I mean? So that's either like magica or stamina. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to be. You're only really going to get one set unless you're using I don't know what the armor's called, but it's a crafted set, nine trait, where you have your spell damage and your weapon damage at equal lengths.
oh yeah, yeah, the like
That's the only way I could
Nimbus
ever
or
see that
something.
being viable. Yeah, yeah. But like as far as the One Piece goes for that set, you get stamina and magicka, which is okay. You know,
Well, yeah, and when you
for
when you gold
PvP,
it
that's
out,
good.
yeah, when you gold it out, I think it's 1,000 of each, so it makes a big difference
Mm.
on your max stats if you're trying to get like min max your character.
Oh, totally. Like
So
PvP, that's going to be great. Obviously, you know, you get your magicka and your
yeah.
stamina. Like, if your magicka build, obviously, it gives you more block and roll dodge and stuff. You know,
Oh
so
yeah.
that's definitely going to be a little bit. I like how the game's going. I like the way it's going, as in it's less about the numbers now. Like, obviously, there's still going to be the number aspect, like you know, hitting high DPS and things. But as far as PvP goes, it's more skill. I mean, it's been about skill before, but a lot of people could have broken builds. Like, you could be really shit at the game
Oh yeah.
and still be climbing the leaderboards. It's about skill now. Do you know what I mean? You need to manage your resource management a lot more carefully, and I prefer that way because, like, as far as numbers go, I mean, you know, that's just easy, but it takes real skill to be good at something, you know, in
Yeah.
practice.
Yeah. You can put I could get. I have a video where I got 5k spell damage on my Templar without the weapon damage enchants. So I would have had like 5,500 or 6,000 uh, on my
Wow.
character, but it has zero regen. So if I went in there, I might kill one person maybe because I got like three fucking jabs and then I'm out of resources. But I'm not gonna
Yeah.
sit there and like 1vx on that. And back in the day, you could like if you could get 6,000 spell damage, and then you had unlimited
Mm.
resources, um, you could be straight shit at the game and just spam one button and win. You know, because you just do too much damage.
Exactly, and now people are putting rather than just going all glass cannon set, you could literally have one DPS set of armor and then have a resource management or like a heavy tanky set of armor. Because just to balance yourself out now, and I prefer that
Oh yeah.
because it gives. You know what I mean, it just makes the game a lot more fair. And I think if Elder Scrolls carries on in that way, then I don't think they've got anything to worry about Destiny coming out. I mean, obviously they're going to lose a few people, but I mean, they are two different games after all. I mean,
Yeah.
one's obviously first person shooter, and the other one's just like you know
Yeah.
Elder
Yeah.
Scrolls, your classic Elder Scrolls game.
Yeah, you just have to. It's just Elder Scrolls. That's all that matters. But
Exactly.
it's yeah. I agree. I like how they're doing that, and I also like I feel like in dungeons now, it's not just one set that you can use because
Not
before
totally.
before it was like if you didn't have burning spell weave and like sun or something like that on your DK, like people didn't even want you to join their group. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
they're like, oh well, you're not going to get good damage if you don't. Um, Now there's so many sets that I mean, if you someone's getting 30,000 and you're getting 29, it's the same damn thing. Like
Yeah.
that 1,000 damage is absolutely nothing because all you have to do is like wrong click a button and that 30 goes down to like 27. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
not yeah
Exactly.
it's and that's what some of the people don't understand is like they follow like the really popular YouTubers and they're like, oh, I have to have this set, I have to have that. They don't. And that's the thing is that like if you took, you know, say someone who always gets like 30k DPS, they can almost do that in any set. You know what I mean? Because they're so
Mm.
good at their rotation and the classes and things like that. it's you can get that damage with a multitude of different things. But when people watch the videos and they say, "Oh, this is what I'm getting 30K on," you're not just going to put that set on and get 30,000 DPS. I don't care if it's all gold and whatnot. If you're not experienced with that class, really good at its rotation, you're not going to get it. You're going to get like 20K maybe, depending on how shitty your rotation is. Because all you got to do is mess up one rotation of dots and it drops like 10K right there.
Yeah, I mean? Exactly. I mean, we had to hold off vet trials for like the first week of Horns of the Reach because, like, people's DPS. Obviously, you could tell the difference because a lot of people who've been playing the game a long time, their DPS are much, but then you get some people whose DPS has dropped like more than 10K just because of a few slight nerfs. Like, wow, that's bad. So we had to like put up a week just for people to get their shit together.
Yeah, just to get used to the new stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And the thing is too is like everybody wants to switch their stuff around. If you were getting good DPS last patch, you're still gonna get really good DPS on this patch, and like
exactly
the only reason that you want to min max and try to be the best is if you're trying to go for scoreboards. Like if you're trying to be competitive and trying to be like like best at vet AA or different things like that. Like that's the only reason. Like if you're just trying to enjoy and do content and have enough damage to complete it, you don't have to go for the play with what you like. You know what I mean? Like you can beat at trials with everybody having 20K DPS. You don't have to have everybody having 50,000. You know what I mean? It's not that big of a deal. It's all about group dynamic, really.
Exactly. And I mean, if you can survive and like the mechanics and stuff, it doesn't matter how long it takes to destroy something. I mean, like say if you're on War of Lawcast, it doesn't really matter. If the whole clock resets, you can just carry on doing it. I mean, you don't need massive amounts of DPS to destroy it as fast as you can. I mean, yeah, that's good for high scores and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, if you just want to play the game how you want, you don't have to have amazing DPS. As long as you can survive, that's how you can win. Because like I've made a lot of tanks before, like PvP tanks. Literally, you can win any battle as long as you can survive. And then after that, then you start working on your DPS and attacks, and then you can eventually chip them away. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And see, and that's the thing too is like the tank video. My first video that I ever did was on my Warden tank, and
that was a good video.
And I don't have the saved footage, but the first time I did City of Ash, I soloed Falcon Scoria on hard mode with it. And
that's pretty impressive.
And it doesn't use any fancy stuff. It's wearing Engine Guardian, Seducers, and Plague Doctor. That's it. That's all I'm running on it.
Wow. Yeah, that's good.
And it's because of how those sets synergize with the Warden as a tank is what makes it super strong. And when I was doing it, actually, it was kind of funny because I had bet the guy. I was like, yeah, I'll fucking finish this fight. He's like, if you finish it, I'll give you 20 Tempering Alloys. Well, I got 20 Tempering Alloys and almost golded out my entire set because it was all purple when I did it, too. It wasn't even gold. It was all purple.
Nice.
So I golded out most of my set with that because I soloed it. And that's the thing, too, is, like, people don't understand because, like, I'll go into – and, like, we've done trials before with my tanks and everything, and I have no problems, like, doing anything in the game, and I don't run – the sets that everybody else runs. I run Seducers and different things, and I can do any of the content in the game, and that's what I'm hoping that people get from my channel is that you don't have to have the best of the best in the game, and then you can make your own builds that lets you do everything. You know what I mean? Like that's the goal in this whole thing is to show people that no matter what you're wearing, if you set it up properly, like with your bars and it has a purpose, you can do anything you want with any crafted set in the game. It's not nothing fancy that you have to have.
Yeah, exactly, man. That's totally it. But yeah, man, I would love to stay and chat. Honestly, I could chat about this all day, but I got work soon. But
no, it's good. It's good. Yeah. Thanks for coming in and joining my channel for a little bit and going over some stuff.
Oh, no worries, man. Thanks for having me. It's always, I'm always glad to hang out with, with friends and stuff and just chat. But yeah, I'll definitely post this video on my channel as well. So, but yeah, for you guys watching this on my channel, I'm going to leave a link, and you should definitely subscribe to this dude because he makes some pretty sweet content, and he's very underrated.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
That's right, you deserve, man. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
thanks. I appreciate that. But all right, guys. Well, hopefully you enjoyed our video. Hopefully you learned a lot. Remember, be creative, make your own builds. Just all all that matters is that you have fun playing this game. You spent money on it. Have fun playing it, and hopefully we will see you guys soon.
Yeah, all right. Well, take care, everyone.
All right, see you guys.
Peace.